One. How we doing, everyone? Welcome to another edition of FSI's NHL DFS preview show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, joined with McKinley 412. How you doing, McKinley? It has been a while. You know, we took a little break between the COVID situations going on in the NHL. Just massive roster news. It was impossible to keep up with, possible to plan ahead. You were basically just at hour by hour updates. But hey, it's good to be back. And how things been in the past month?
Good. Yeah, it was pretty crazy there. It felt like we went an entire month of just like 3-game slates every single night, and it was the worst. But finally, we are coming out of the All-Star break strong. We got a couple decent sized slates coming up even this week. So plenty pleased with that. But still, COVID is around. You know, we just heard about Jack Hughes. He got it. And then who knows how many All-Stars he infected while at the game. So we'll see what happens from here.
Yeah. Definitely still an evolving subject within the sport community with, NBA, NHL, still lingering effects throughout, but it was getting really crazy there in January. So it was good to take a break, let that kind of just play out. But now that we're getting after this All-Star break, we got the second half of the season. Playoff picture is kind of winding up, and it's getting more clear who are the better teams and who are the teams tanking for the first pick. Looks like our Sabres and Blue Jackets are heading the other direction after what was a promising start to the season. But what can you do? That's enough bias talk from us in this show.
Yeah.
All right, so we're talking a 7-game slate tomorrow. Let's get into our totals and odds for tomorrow. You got Carolina minus 275. They are playing tonight versus Toronto, so that is a pretty tough back-to-back. They're going to Ottawa. You got the Capitals. They're facing off against my Blue Jackets, but they're a minus 265 favorite. The line indication says a lot about whether or not the injury news in Washington is going to turn out well for them. Canucks minus 250 against the, worst of all time Coyotes. And then you get the Wild in Boston.
They have been better.
This is true. They did have, the other day, what was that? The biggest upset in NHL.
The good game against Colorado.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be what was that? Like, you guys were posting stats. I just was in awe of that record-setting underdog win.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, but we have the Wild and Boston around out favorites. They're slight favorites, I would say. But yeah, there's some close games. Now, tell me about your favorite games heading into tomorrow. Some of these totals we got here on the right.
Yeah, I mean, this Vegas Edmonton game. I mean, Vegas agrees. I think it's going to see quite a few goals. Edmonton, they gotta put things together here. Second half of the season, they're currently not in the playoff spot right now. So they definitely need to, kind of ramp it up. Draisaitl, McDavid need to really take over. We saw Draisaitl, he had that massive slump through, what was it? It was like December and January, and we saw his price drop below 8K, but he finally found his form back again. So I think he's back. We'll talk about him later in the video, actually. But yeah, I love Washington at home against Columbus, a Columbus team who allows like the most goals against in the entire league on the road. Yeah, they're just a terrible road team. And then that Boston-Pittsburgh game at 6, I don't know. It seems a little high. Those, I don't know about you, but like those Metropolitan, matchups always seem to be just the grittiest. You're going to see a 3-1 game a lot of the time. The Boston-Pittsburgh or Washington versus Philly. They just always seem to, not live up to the goals. But, who knows? Things can change. We'll see what happens.
Shooting.
Yeah. So we'll see how it
on the
goes.
boards kind of games. That's kind of how I feel about the same that whole conference and division. Well, that whole division, excuse me.
That whole division, I just hate it.
Yeah, it's like unless one of them's matched up against the Blue Jackets, it's really just snatch and grab of the puck and just kind of skate along the boards, couple of passes and hits. It's really
Islanders, Rangers, both defensively minded. It's just I don't like it.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on here to the center position. Let's get into some of our picks for tomorrow. I'll kick us off with Sebastian Aho at 7,500. This is a guy that I don't mind playing by himself. They're the line mates, I believe, tonight are Martinuk and I think it's Jarvis. Two guys I don't really have much faith in as far as a floor.
Neckcast, isn't it?
I thought Neckis was on that second line, no? Or is he on the first?
He's up on the first, yeah.
Well, hey, I think that's a solid winger slot for tomorrow. Yeah, and Aho 7,500. I like playing him. He's on the power play. Also has some time on the penalty kill. I did mention the back-to-back. He does have a really strong matchup versus Ottawa, who is also on a back-to-back. Last time I checked, I think they're winning 4-1. But I still really like Aho for the floor. I'm hoping that he can find some of that early season form that we saw. Carolina just, definitely rolled beaters, 31 wins, only 9 losses. Aho, big part of that. And I think that price tag's a really good reduction from the top of the guys here. And I think that you can get pretty different in GPPs with him. Not many people like to target studs on back-to-backs, especially on larger slates outside of 3 games. And then I like Nick Suzuki here from Montreal, 4,600. Montreal, yeah, definitely one of the worst teams in the league this year, but they've also dealt with a ton of injuries, and Suzuki being one of them hasn't been able to find much of a groove. The game before the All-Star break, though, he did have a goal and assist. I love his matchup versus New Jersey. This will be a back-to-back for New Jersey. New Jersey's been so bad. They've been giving up a ton of goals lately, and Suzuki, I'm hoping to find some form. Gator has this saying, if you don't know him, Gator Guy 231 here from at FSI, he has this saying, bad plus bad equals good. And that's what I'm going for here with this Montreal and New Jersey game, is that the teams are so bad that the Corsi is just going to work out in our favor, and we're going to get a lot of high danger opportunities for Suzuki and other players for Montreal. And that's what I'm going for. And I love the price tag, 4,600. I think it's really going to work for you too. What are your favorite cash targets for tomorrow? Some of the more sensible takes on this slide.
Yeah, I love Sebastian there at 7.5K, but if we were going studs, I like this Edmonton game. I don't mind McDavid at all, just because he's not here doesn't mean I don't like him. Definitely love him in this spot, but Draisaitl, he's gonna save you $800, and that actually can be kind of big. Now, we want to check his line mates. His line mates aren't the most star-studded. I think he was skating with like Cassian and McLeod last game out. But still, even though I mentioned it earlier, he was really starting to come back to his own form. Right before the All-Star break, though, he's shooting the puck more. He's finally seeing the back of the net, getting the assists. And so, I think he's fine at 8.8K. Vegas, they're no slouch, but still, I think this is going to be a high event game. There are going to be quite a few goals in it. In the mid tier, I'm looking at Kuznetsov for Washington. Now, make sure you're paying attention to the Ovechkin news. He was placed on the COVID list prior to the All-Star break, missed the All-Star game because of it. We're recording this the night before. He has not been cleared yet, but if he is, that's an even better boost to Kuznetsov. I mentioned earlier, Columbus, they allow the most goals away from home in the entire league. And now we're going to get Kuznetsov, who is shooting the puck more than he really has his whole career. So he's shooting the puck, skating with McDavid, and we're getting him at a great discount, just 5.7K. I'm sure, what was his price, not too long ago? I can pull this up real quick.
I was quite shocked, but I believe he was in the high 6K, low 7Ks for much of January.
Yeah, he was at 6.8K. So we're getting over 1,000 salary discount, skating next to Ovechkin, and probably the highest team total on the entire slate. Right. So I love Kuznetsov at this spot. And even if Ovi doesn't skate, I still think 5.7K for Kuznetsov. There's no harm in it in that mid range. And then going way down into the bottom of the barrel, we're going with Pavel Zacha. You mentioned New Jersey. They are just terrible. And they are. They're going to be on a back-to-back, but like you said, they're going up against Montreal, who's the worst team, kind of statistically in the entire league so far this season. And with Jack Hughes out with COVID, Saka kind of got bumped up into that second line center role behind Heischer, and he sees a top power play unit as well. So, second line center, top power play unit going up against like the worst team in the league. 2.7K. I don't care how bad your team's been. That's a salary that can be in your player pool. I'm not saying he's like amazing or he's gonna smash or anything, but still, he's not gonna burn you if he only gets you like 2 or 3 shots. Even just if he gets 1 assist, no shots, no block shots, pays off his salary for me. So
nice. Like it. I like it. Like I said, that bad plus bad, good matchup tomorrow, New Jersey, Montreal. I believe it has a total of 6 in that matchup too. So, I mean, Vegas is on to some of the over-unders. I like Bo Horvat here coming back off of the COVID list. I don't think the price is right here. 3,900 I think is a really great opportunity for a cheap play going up against, the Coyotes. Yes, they've been slightly better in the recent form. Obviously kickstarted by that win versus Colorado in Colorado, but Horvat skating with Elias Pettersson on the wing now. They're taking him out of that center role and giving him a shot on the wing. And also skating with Connor Garland, a guy that is, former Arizona Coyote man himself, someone that can really get, pucks on the net. I think Vancouver definitely better than their record suggests as well, just talent-wise. They've dealt with a lot of injuries as well over the course of the entire season, not just the whole January fiasco that we just had. So haven't been able to really gain any kind of momentum, but when you do see them put, a lot of points on the goals on the score goals on the board, points on the scorecards is what I wanted to say. And Bo Horvat, 13 goals, 10 assists on the year. And I think in 13 straight games, he's got at least 2 shots on goal. This is a guy that can block shots too. You might have a sprinkle of 1 or 2 block shots as well. So Bo Horvat, I think he's a solid play tomorrow for another cheap GPP center. All right, moving on to the winger position. I'm going to go ahead and start here with Max Pacioretty, 8,200, a guy that hasn't gotten back into that early season form. Certainly a buy low candidate for tomorrow with the names that you have, like, Draisaitl, McDavid, Ovechkin, all in better spots. I think that kind of leaves Pacioretty as the odd stud out. I know you're going to talk about another guy too that I think other ownership is going to be gravitated towards. So I think this is going to be like a sub 5% play in a game total of 6.5. And I think that makes it really sharp, especially if he can find some form after a little bit of a vacation. Did he play in the All-Star game? I didn't have a chance to watch, but was Max in it?
I think so. I'll be honest. I watched like the first game of the 3-on-3 and I was like, turn it off.
Exactly. Like the Pro Bowl, I'm just not much interested in the
Pro Bowl
All-Star.
was a disaster. Can't believe that even happened.
Exactly. I think we were playing 2-hand touch. I'm just not much interested into All-Star games and stuff like that. So I think he got a nice break in between maybe playing in the All-Star game. I'm sure you guys can correct me into the comments, calling me a fool, but I think he's ready to get back into form. Vegas, a really good team that's going to try to get back into the playoffs and look for another cup run. And Max just leads the way. And I think it's going to be a really low owned play. But tell me about your favorite cash targets heading into tomorrow. I see a guy I like on that board.
Yep. So we're right up top, Kyle Connor, 8.6K, going up against Minnesota. That is kind of tough when you think about it. But he's on home ice. He is shooting the puck like crazy lately. So we like that about Connor. It's one of his DFS staples is that he just shoots the puck a ton. Yeah. Now he's going up against Minnesota, and Minnesota actually plays some high event hockey. They shoot the puck like it's like top 5 in the league, but they also are top 10 in shots against per game. So they allow a lot of shots. Connor shoots the puck a ton, and his scoring has kind of been back in form. I think he's at like 25 goals, 21 assists on the season. Pulls up, 25 goals, 21 assists. So he's at over a point per game pace. And he's just on a crazy good run leading up into the All-Star break. He was on like a 9-game stretch of double-digit DraftKings points or higher. So he's definitely got a ceiling to go along with it. So a Connor 8.6K. Don't mind him as a nice cash option there. Going down to Toffoli here at 5.4K. There's a lot of good spots, I think, in this mid-tier range. I was thinking about Evander Kane. You see him, you have him there.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. But anybody skating with McDavid who's going to shoot the puck, 3 to 4 times
Right.
under 6K, it's always interesting to me. But Toffoli, we're targeting this Montreal, New Jersey game again.
We
Toffoli,
are.
top line for Montreal, top power play unit for Montreal. You compare him with Suzuki if you want, guy that you talked about earlier. But Toffoli, he shoots the puck quite a bit. He's getting on the score sheet. He had great form, leading the All-Star break as well. And like you said, and I said, New Jersey, just horrendous. Defensively, they're allowing, like we said, we think it's 4-1. Ottawa's just destroying them right now. That's not good. If you can't keep the Senators, I don't even know. I don't even know where to go with that, but they're just terrible. So Toffoli, I don't mind him. But talk to us a little bit more about Evander Kane and your guy. You got Bjorkstrand in there.
Yeah, so definitely love Toffoli in that spot. Really love that pick from you, and obviously I'm on that Montreal one mini stack there. But yeah, I went Evander Kane at 5,800 with the Edmonton matchup. Really like that, 6.5 point total. Like you said earlier, he's skating with McDavid. He puts up shots. One falls in, and you got a good game stack going. And I think that's kind of be my angle in some GPPs is try to get Pacioretty and another Vegas piece, pair them up with some of the Edmonton guys, and I think that makes for a good single entry GPP you know lineup construction, is trying to find my words. And I think Evander Kane for Edmonton brings a different dynamic on the wing that they haven't had. I mean, Jesse Puljujarvi definitely good, a two-way winger in ways, a guy that can really skate, can fly, but not really the offensive guy that Kane is. And I think he adds a little bit of more potency to that, offensive prowess of the Edmonton Oilers. And I'm going to go ahead and round out with Oliver Bjorkstrand at 4,300. Washington does have some injury news. They're not really strong defensively along the wings. They do tend to give up goals. They haven't been really in form either. I know they're huge favorites. We love Kuznetsov and Ovechkin. We can't understate that. But there is something about the Blue Jackets. They can score. Bjorkstrand, Line A's got 2 goals in back-to-back games before the All-Star break, skating with Boone Jenner. But yeah, Columbus can be gritty at times, and they can put pucks in the net when you're not expecting them to. I never really target a goalie against the Blue Jackets unless there's like a back-to-back situation. And I know they've been really struggling lately. But the few games that they had before the All-Star break, they looked like they found something. So I'm going to hope that Bjorkstrand can find me a goal. You're not really going to need much more than that at 4,300. And, I think it makes for a decent GPP target. But tell me about your favorite target in the bottom tier before we move on to defender.
Yeah, Garland, Vancouver here at 4K facing Arizona team that he skated for a couple of years. He just got traded to Vancouver over the offseason. So he got a nice little rematch with some of his old buddies. And I can't remember who it was. I think it was FB Voni in the Discord who brought up the stat. Garland actually leads Vancouver in shots on goal this season, which just kind of, I was not expecting it. I knew he shot the puck quite a bit, but to be leading the team in shots generated and shots on net this far into the season, 4K, I'll take it. Going up against Arizona, we know Arizona's struggles so far this season. Vancouver, I think you said they're like the third best favorite on the slate. There's going to be goals. So Garland at 4K, I think he's a great spot for some salary savings if you do want to go up and get those, you know, Dreisaitl's and McDavid's, Connors, Pacioretty's. So salary, the relief is there if you want to go down there, but I like it.
Yep, me too. All right, moving on to the defender position. We have the GPP targets. I'm going to go with Letang here at 7K. I think there's some upside here with the block shot bonus and some shots on goal. Like we talked about before we started, the Boston and Pittsburgh kind of matchup is a defensive one, one where you have a lot of hits, a lot of block shots. I think that could give us some upside here with Letang, with some bonus opportunities. He does get, quite a few pucks towards the net on power plays. Boston and Pittsburgh expectedly to be a very up and down penalty wise. I could see just, grind it out kind of game. And I think Letang, 5 goals on the season, 36 assists, Pittsburgh. I could see this being like a 3-2, 4-2 game. And I think Letang could be the one to have in this matchup rather than stacking, a Pittsburgh line. I could just see having a solo Letang spot here. But I think I wanted to say here, we found a lot of value in defense this year, and we've made a lot of good money punting the position. It looks like the studs have not been the same as far as scoring wise in DraftKings. I know we're going to try to make a pitch here for a few of the top tier guys, but really we've made some good marks finding cheap defense or just guys in that middle tier that get those bonuses and score just as much if a defender up top were to score. So I think that's just wanted to say, our bread and butter of, punting defense and getting the stud value or the stud centers and wingers and stacks have really made us money. So I think that's very vital to pay attention to the next, 4 or 5 picks. But go ahead, tell us your favorite cash targets at defender.
Yeah, John Carlson up top. If I was going up top, I mean, there's lots of great spots there. I don't mind Pietrangelo. I don't mind Tony DeAngelo there. But Carlson just kind of fits in nice. Just because Columbus, I mean, you see it on DK there. They're the worst against worst against the opposing defense. So I think it's mainly just matchup and everything. I don't really have anything else to say other than that. But like you said, yeah, paying up for defense. I used to always pay up for defense. I came into the season just being like, pay up for defense. That's what I always did, and I was successful with it. Something's different. I don't know if like DraftKings is pricing like their value plays a little bit differently or what. But yeah, we found a lot of great value, and it seems to be low owned value. Like, how many times did we core Savard from Montreal? And he went for like 3 or 4x for like 9 games in a row, but no, he was always like sub 5%. But
Right.
he was just racking up block shot bonus after block shot bonus after block shot bonus, and he was only like 2.9K. So it didn't make any sense.
And then how long did it take for everyone to catch on to the Chicago defenders too? Like we were playing DeHaan and Murphy for so long. All they were doing was putting up like 1 assist, 4 block shots, and boom, they were at value. We didn't even need a shot on goal.
Yep. DeHaan was another one. Ferraro before his price shot up with birth. Like, I mean, there you go. Savard, Ferraro, and DeHaan. Like, we've been living on those 3 guys. Obviously, they've like ebbed and flowed. Like Ferraro, I don't even touch him anymore. He used to be amazing, but like it's just been crazy how much value has been in that dirt cheap zone in DraftKings. But let's just keep going on. Severson for New Jersey. Dougie Hamilton, he's going to be out a couple more games here. So Severson kind of gets like the lead role there in New Jersey on the defensive end. So, 4.4K, we think this game's going to see a lot of goals. He's kind of taking over. That's a solid price for him. But you like Brodin a little bit lower there. Go ahead.
Eunice Brodin, this is typically a guy that stays in that 5K, 6K price range for Minnesota. We know Minnesota loves to use their defenders in the attack. Brodin in the last 2 games has an assist, and he's got 3 shots on goal, 4 block shots, massive game versus Chicago. Just a guy that does it all. On the year, I believe he has 57 block shots to 61 shots on goal, 15 assists. I think he makes for that perfect bottom tier value defensive play that we've just been working on for, the last month and a half, 2 months. In his last 5 games, he's 17, 7, 4, 14, and 11 in DraftKings points. So I think much is going to be the same. We expect a lot of shots from Winnipeg. So I expect quite a few block shots. And I know he's going to be, catapulted into the attack by the way that the Minnesota Wild play. I think it makes for a great play at 4,300. And Duncan Keith at 3,600 for Edmonton just kind of really caught my eye when, scouring the dumpsters here of the defense. 18, 8, 14, 14, 11, 13 in his last 6 games. He has 5 assists in those games. But really what it is, guys, that we've been preaching is block shots. 3 block shots, 3 block shots, 2, 4, 3, 3. He's getting that bonus. He's peppering in maybe 1 or 2 shots on goal, and he's skating with the top line defense. I believe he's with Nurse, and, he's got opportunities to put up assists when he's skating with players like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. I think he makes for a really solid GPP target. Your thoughts on those 2, and who are you rounding out your defender with?
Yeah, I mean, you'll never hear me oppose a Minnesota defenseman. I feel like they've always been fantastic plays in DFS. Keith, yeah, don't mind him. We'll just check those Edmonton lines. The defense, they just seem to always be shuffling around with like Keith and Bouchard and Barry. Speaking of which, Barry got a crazy price drop the other day. But yeah, we'll just keep an eye on that. But my punt D for cash is going to be Trevor Van Riemsdyk, Washington once again. Van Riemsdyk, he mainly, block shots like you said, but he's actually been generating quite a few assists on the season. He has 1 goal, 11 assists, but still, he's on pace for a 40-point season, which for a, third pair defenseman, like that's pretty crazy. If you can get, a 20-point season, not a 40-point season, 20-point season. My math is like beyond bad right now. 20-point season, but still, I mean, lately he's got 5 points in his past 14 games. So sub 3K, I don't mind him. He's getting a block shot bonus like every other game right now. So I don't mind him as a punt option. He's not going to be in my cash line tomorrow. I'm just going to say it right now. He's not going to be in my cash line. But if you do need to go way down deep, I don't mind him in that spot there.
Yeah, I think he makes for a solid play as well. I've played him a time or 2. There's not many times I'm paying up a defense, so I'm going to take 2 or 3 of these different guys we have down here in this 4K, 3K range. All right, moving on to our favorite stacks. In true traditional GPP line stack, you can't go wrong with Bergeron, Marchand, and Smith. Usually Smith is Pastrnak, but they've had some success putting Pastrnak with Taylor Hall and Charlie Coyle, I believe, or Eric Holla. I can't really, like Edmonton's D, they kind of shuffle them centers in Boston. But yeah, I like Bergeron, Marchand at home versus Pittsburgh and Jari. Yeah, we expecting some gritty, metropolitan, matchup, but the talent level for Boston, the low ownership, I think it makes for a good line stack just based on that alone. And I think you're nailing it here with your cash stack. Go ahead.
Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, and Wilson. I mean, Washington at home against Columbus. Sign me up.
Yep. We've talked about it already, but yeah, it's like you said, I even think they're going to put Korpisalo in net. So this
even better.
It could get ugly. Hammer that over in Washington tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, guys, that'll wrap things up. It's good to be back, McKinley, for some NHL talk. Hopefully we can keep doing this on Mondays to produce a good Tuesday show for you. And hopefully we can get another couple of videos out later in the week, so stay tuned to the channel for any updates on that, any postings on Thursdays or Saturdays. You can follow us on Twitter at TK Nation. That is at McKinley4_412. And subscribe this video, comments below are much appreciated, and join us in the Discord. Very fun Discord between the subscribers. Love talking with these guys about some hockey. The quizzes from F. Bonvi, the Come On You Spurs messages, they're all great, and we appreciate it, guys, and thank you. All right, guys, enjoy your evening, and enjoy your slate.